What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Open Master League submitted to the channel by KingPeria464, who's running what he calls Naturehole, with Escavalier in the lead and then two of the Forces of Nature trio in the back in the form of Landorus and Thunderous, both running their new moves. Now, word of warning, these three Pokemon aren't fully maxed out, they're around level 43 to 46, and these battles are at rank 20, but KingPeria makes a ton of crazy high level plays, so all I will say is don't judge a book by its cover. Before we get into the battles, I do want to mention that I didn't realize that Sandsear Storm and Wild Bolt Storm were actually guaranteed debuffs to the attack. I thought it was a chance, so I just ignore like the first half of the commentary when I'm saying about, oh, we're getting super lucky with these debuffs. But with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. Do you play in the Open Master League even if you can't afford to max out the Pokemon that you want to run? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Let's go into the first battle lead, Escavalier into a Snorlax, and the opponent is a Purified Snorlax here. They're quite high CP. I don't know what CP Snorlax maxes out at, but this is pretty close to level 50, if not level 50. We're going to go for a Mega Horn here. Mega Horn is going to do some decent damage, but Snorlax does tank that very well. They're going to make it to another charge move here. We're actually going to shield our Escavalier and go for the one shield farm down with our Escavalier. Come out with a charge move loaded. The opponent comes in with a Dialga, so we're going to go straight for the Drill Run here. Drill Run going to be hitting for super effective damage. It does quite a lot of damage as well. The opponent does get the Dragon Breath farm down. We come in with our Landorus, and we're going to swap. We're going to go for the catch. Have we just caught a resisted Iron Head? Yes, we have. Really nice play there, and we've also put them into range where we can fully Volt Switch, farm them down, and the opponent's got a Metagross in the back, so things are looking great for us. We can go straight for the Wild Bolt Storm. We get the attack drop, which is pretty nice. Going to go for a second Wild Bolt Storm here. It's not going to do too much damage, but we actually got both shields, and we get two attack drops at the same time as well, so huge for us. We can now come in with our Landorus. We can actually just no shield this first move. It's not going to do that much damage. A second Meteor Mash would KO though, so we're going to have to shield if they do get there, but Sandsear Storm doesn't quite take them out, but we get another attack drop with our Landorus, safely shield up the next charge move, and we're able to take out the Metagross and take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Escavalier into Walrein, which is something that you probably wouldn't expect to see in the Open Master League. But the opponent's going to swap into their Garchomp. They are running Mud Shot, so we're going to go straight for a Mega Horn here before the opponent makes it to a charge move. Mega Horn grabs a shield from the opponent, and then we swap into our Landorus. Did we just catch a resisted Earth Power? Yes, we have done. Huge swap there, tanking that energy really easily. We can now go for a Sandsear Storm. This isn't going to KO from this range, but we do get the attack drop as well, so we can probably live an Outrage as well. The opponent goes for the Outrage. We do live that comfortably, and also they're not going to be able to Mud Shot farm us down, so we're going to over farm here, throwing just before they make it to the next charge move, and Sandsear Storm will be taking out the Garchomp. They come in with their Gyarados actually, but we've got our Thunderous, and we are dealing huge damage with the Volt Switches. We're going to shield this up just because, well, I mean, we might as well. We've got two shields remaining. They come back in with the Walrein. We might shield this up as well. Yeah, we are going to shield this up. They go for the Icicle Spear. We're going to go for the Wild Bolt Storm, actually. Over farming to the back-to-back here. Going for the first one, grabbing the final shield, and we can easily win CMP up against the Walrein. This will be enough damage to take out the Walrein, and now there's not a lot the Gyarados can do up against our Thunderous, so the opponent just concedes the match there. Going into the next battle, we see a Melmetal in the lead, and at low elo, it's quite typical to see Melmetal as it's a very easy legendary or mythical Pokemon to power up, but we're able to swap, catch a resisted superpower onto our Landorus, but unfortunately the opponent has a Mamoswine in the back. Now, this looks bad, but it's actually pretty good to bait it out here because Thunderous has an even worse time. They do unfortunately get a full Powder Snow farm down, which is not ideal, but we have debuffed their attack. We could live a high horsepower, but the opponent baits with the Avalanche, and we do shield. So we're going to go for a Drill Run here. Drill Run will not be enough damage to KO, but we do grab the final shield from the opponent. At this point, we are going to double shield our Escavalier. They go for a second Avalanche bait. We're going to overfarm just a little bit, go for the Drill Run, and from this range, this will now be enough damage to take out the Mamoswine. The opponent comes back in with their Melmetal. We are once again going to swap out and catch what should be another resisted superpower. It is the superpower. The opponent's staying in with the Melmetal, but they've debuffed their attack, so this Rock Slide will not be enough damage to KO, and we can actually overfarm in this matchup here, going for two Volt Switches before throwing. very good, over farming as much as possible, taking them out with the Wild Bolt Storm, but their opponent's got a Confusion Mewtwo in the back, so they actually KO us there with one Confusion, but it doesn't matter as a Mega Horn takes out the Mewtwo from pretty much full health, and we're able to take that game. Going into the next battle, we see another Melmetal in the lead, so it's going to be interesting to see if we try and make a catch, but no, the opponent actually swaps into their Garchomp, so we're going to farm up to a Mega Horn, then bait with a Drill Run, and the opponent is going to let the Drill Run go through. So unfortunately there, we try to swap, catch a resisted Charge Move onto our Landorus, but unfortunately the opponent does hold on to their energy, but they still haven't thrown a Charge Move yet, and now we get the attack drop with the Sandsear Storm. Honestly, we're probably just going to let the move go through, and the opponent's going to go for an Earthquake, so probably running Earthquake and Sand Tomb as the charge moves. Bit unfortunate for the opponent, but Sandsear Storm takes out the Garchomp. They come in with a Smackdown Rhyperior, but we make it to another Sandsear Storm, and it looks like the sky just changed from daytime to nighttime as well, which is pretty cool to see in the middle of a battle. But at this point, we're going to shield up at Escavalier, probably commit to a full counter farm down. They go for a Surf Bait, but they don't make it to a second charge move, and now we can just fire off the back-to-back drill runs into the Melmetal. First one, gonna grab the final shield from the opponent. Looks like a CMP tie as well. The opponent's going to go for a double Iron Bash bait there, but we will be able to make it to another Drill Run, throwing just before they make it to the next charge move. Drill Run gets the Melmetal incredibly low. They overfarm as much as they think they can, but we make it to a third Drill Run in time, and Drill Run will be taking out the Melmetal, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, Escavalier into a Zygarde complete, and I have no idea what CP this thing maxes out at, but I do believe it doesn't have a hugely high CP, so this might be pretty close to level 50. They are best buddy boosted as well. They're going to go for Crunch. That actually does some decent damage considering Zygarde is very HP weighted, not very attack weighted is what I mean to say. We're going to come in with our Landorus here, and we will resist the Earthquake, so it kind of makes sense to come in here. Crunch, not going to do too much damage there, but once again doing a bit more than you'd probably expect it to do. We're going to go for the Sandsear Storm. Sandsear Storm gets the attack drop, and now we should actually live another Crunch. We're going to go for a second Sandsear Storm, and the opponent is going to let it go through. We get another attack drop, so we're certainly going to live this now, but I think they might be able to Dragon Tail farm us down, so we actually shield that up. We're now going to overfarm considerably in this matchup, throwing the next Sandsear Storm just before they get the full farm down. The opponent going to shield that up. We swap back into Escavalier, and we should be able to tank anything they throw. Even an Earthquake probably won't KO, but they go for another Crunch. We're just going to shield that up, go for a full counter farm down. We finally get rid of the Zygarde. That was really difficult, but here we're now going to go for the Drill Run into the Metagross coming in. Drill Run does about half their health. We can throw the second Drill Run immediately here, and Drill Run will be enough damage to barely not take them out there, but we get the counter farm down, and they've got a Togekiss in the back, so we should be looking pretty good here. We've got a Thundurus remaining. We tried to come in with the Landorus, go for a Stone Edge, but we don't get there, and we give them extra energy, and I don't know if a Wild Bolt Storm will KO from this range. It actually barely doesn't take them out, but once again getting that attack drop here means we should be able to live an Ancient Power, just barely able to take out the Togekiss, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, Reshiram in the lead. Not ideal, but they are running Dragon Breath, so possibly could have stayed in to see if they were running Fire Fang or Dragon Breath, but it is a bit risky. So we swap out straight away into our Landorus. We get the attack drop once again. The opponent's going to swap out into Metagross, and the opponent absolutely core broken by Landorus right now. We're going for the Sandsear Storm. They are going to double shield straight away. We make it to a third Sandsear Storm, and this is going to deal big damage to the Metagross. And at this point, we are going to probably shield this up and commit to a full Mudshot farm down. They go for the Meteor Mash. We can shield that up, go for the farm down, and we're just going to blind throw a charge move. We actually go for the Stone Edge. I actually don't know if it's Stone Edge or Sandsear Storm does more damage, but either way, we one-shot the Reshiram. The opponent's got a Sylveon in the back. We just come in with our Escavalier, going to resist the charm damage. They are also resisting the counters, and we can't go for Mega Horn since that is also resisted, but we're still looking pretty fine here. The opponent, it looked like they recognized that it was game over, but then they start attacking, so maybe it was just visual lag there, but they go for a side shot. We're going to shield just to be safe, and we might even go for the Mega Horn. This probably still does more damage than the Drill Run despite being resisted, and it does take out the Sylveon, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, Escavalier into another Garchomp. Garchomp also going to be pretty common in low elo because it has had a community day, pretty strong Pokemon, gets to a fairly high CP, and we are in the middle of a dragon event. Well, by the time this video goes up, this dragon event will no longer be the current event, but it would have ended. But anyways, I don't know what I'm talking about right now. We are going to see the opponent go for another charge move here. We are going to shield it up. It's just another Sand Tomb, but we do make it to at least a drill run. Probably could have committed to the Mega Horn there. But either way, grab the final shield from the Garchomp. We now swap into our Landorus. And we are just going to possibly let this move go through. It's just a Sand Tomb bait, so good call. They then swap into Melmetal as well. So once again, looks like a team core broken by the Landorus. We go for the Sandsear Storm, and we can fire off a second Sandsear Storm before the opponent makes it to a charge move. We take out the Melmetal. The opponent going to come back in with the Garchomp. We're already at another Sandsear Storm, so we're going to throw it here. This should be enough damage from this range to take out the Garchomp, and they've got a Metagross in the back. So Landorus going on an absolute tear in this battle. Sandsear Storm does big damage, once again getting an attack drop. I don't know if they are guaranteed or if it's a chance to get the attack drop. I actually don't have a clue. I've paid no attention to these forces of nature, but we're going to come in with the Thunderous, completely wall the energy. We're able to Volt Switch, farm them down, and take that game. Into the next battle, we're going to see a Haxorus in the lead, so the opponent is going to be running Dragon Tail, so unfortunately not resisting that. Could have stayed in with our Escavalier once again, could have just waited to see what fast move they were running, but we go for the Sandsear Storm, and at this point I feel like it is just a guaranteed debuff because we're getting it every single time. But anyways, the opponent goes for a Dragon Claw, which is quite interesting. Breaking Swipe did get nerfed this season, but it's still just an upgrade of Dragon Claw because it does have a chance to get a debuff. But anyways, we're going to come in with our Escavalier, let this move go through, and the opponent's going to go for a Breaking Swipe this time, so that's a bit confusing. They do get the attack drop as well, so this drill run not going to do too much damage in this matchup, but we're still going to have to throw 2 drill runs to get rid of the Metagross anyway, so doesn't really matter too much. We're going to shield this up as the opponent goes for a Meteor Mash. That is resisted damage, but it would still chunk our Escavalier. We're going to overfarm. We're actually going to possibly commit to a full counter farm down. We will come out with a lot of loaded energy, but we are debuffed in our attack, so let's see. We are going to see the opponent going to come in with a Kyogre, so we're going to go for the Mega Horn. Remember, we are debuffed, but this will just put them into range where, with the Volt Switch damage, a Wild Bolt Storm should be enough to KO. Even up against a Haxorus, it's going to resist the Wild Bolt Storm, but it still does some decent damage there. We do get the attack drop, so yeah, I'm pretty convinced that it is just a guaranteed attack drop, but yeah, I'm sure someone's already commented within the first few battles that yeah, it is a guaranteed attack drop. But either way, Wild Bolt Storm takes out the Kyogre, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, Escavalier into Melmetal once again. So apologies for the slightly repetitiveness of these battles, but it is what it is. Once again, get a swap here, catch the charge move, and the opponent once again goes for a superpower. So the opponent going to stay in with the Melmetal though. They're going to fire off the next charge move, even if it's a Rock Slide, not going to do too much damage. They have debuffed their attack. And we are going to go for the Sandsear Storm, throwing on the CMP tie with the next charge move from this Melmetal. The opponent happy to let Melmetal go down. They're now going to come in with Metagross, so many opponents just super weak to Landorus in this ELO range. We go for the Sandsear Storm, and we are going to possibly go for the full Mudshot farm down. Yep, I agree with this. Gonna go for the Mudshot farm down, shield up the Meteor Mash, and let's see what that final Pokemon is. It's gonna be a Sylveon, and once again we go for Stone Edge there. Probably just go for the Sandsear Storm if it is a guaranteed debuff, but it doesn't matter. We can come in with the Escavalier, just go straight Drill Run in this matchup, and we should be either grabbing a shield or the opponent should just be conceding the match at this point because there's nothing they can do. We go for a second Drill Run here. Drill Run going to grab the final shield from the opponent. And at this point, we're probably just going to shield this up and go for another charge move. And at this point, we should be able to take them out there. Not really sure why the opponent is playing out this matchup, but either way, we go for the Mega Horn. And Mega Horn will be taking out the Sylveon. And we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, Escavalier into Garchomp once again. So we are just going to stay in this matchup. The opponent is running Dragon Tail, so they're also going to fire off a charge move straight away. So this is actually just going to be a Sand Tomb, which we live very comfortably. We can now go for a Drill Run bait. We did farm well up to the Mega Horn, grab a shield with the Drill Run, and we're going to go for a second Drill Run here. Now this isn't going to do too much damage to the Garchomp. They do let it go through, but we're going to swap into our Landorus, and once again the opponent going to throw a charge move. We're going to shield this time, respect the damage from an Outrage, and it is the Outrage, so good call there. The opponent now going to come in with their Mewtwo. We're going to go straight for the Sandsear Storm. Sandsear Storm is going to debuff their attack, and we should be able to live this, but if they're running Ice Beam, I suppose we can shield, and it is the Ice Beam as well, so really good shield usage here in this battle. Going to go for another Sandsear Storm. grab or debuff them once again, and we will make it to another Sandsear Storm before they make it to that Ice Beam. So Sandsear Storm taking out the Mewtwo, they come back in with the Garchomp, and we are going to swap and catch the move onto our Escavalier. What a play. Sandtomb, sorry, will be taking us out with one extra Dragon Tail. We're actually going to come in with the Thunderous there, and we will be able to make it to a Wild Bolt Storm, and this is once again going to debuff the opponent's attack, and we can just probably go for a Volt Switch farm down. Nah, probably not. We're going to go for a second Wild Bolt Storm. Looks like a CMP type as well, which we do win, taking out the Sylveon. The opponent will be able to get the Dragon Tail farm down just before we make it to the charge move, but it doesn't matter. We had a charge move loaded on our Landorus, winning CMP, taking out the Garchomp, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, Escavalier into Sylveon. So you're going to see lots of similar Pokemon in this Elo range. As we come in with a Melmetal here, the opponent going to win CMP this time, so possibly a slightly higher powered up Melmetal than the previous time, but it doesn't matter. We go for the Drill Run. Drill Run is going to deal super effective damage, so the opponent does use their shield. We can go for a second Drill Run here. The opponent doesn't throw straight away this time, so Drill Run going to deal big damage. We now swap into our Landorus. Probably just sponge the energy here, so the opponent's going to go for a Rock Slide, which we do tank fairly easily, as it is only neutral damage because we are ground and flying. We're going to let the next move go through as well. They go for the Rock Slide, and we can go for a full Mudshot farm down. We're going to go for the Sandsear Storm here, and this is going to debuff their attack once again, and we do grab a shield as well, which is really nice for us. We're going to go for a second one, as the Sandsear Storm is going to get them into the yellow health with a few more Mud Shots. We can now come in with our Thunderous. They are double debuffed, so we're actually going to swap catch the move onto our Escavalier just for the sake of it. They go for the Moonblast. That actually takes us out even though they are double debuffed, and we resisted it, but we get a full Volt Switch farm down, and they've got a Gyarados in the back, so this should be enough damage to one-shot the Gyarados from full health, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, Escavalier into an Excadrill. So a Pokemon that I was probably expecting to see a bit more in this Elo range, but the first one we've seen. We're going to swap once again, catch the move, and the opponent goes for the Draw Run, so amazing catch for us there. They're now going to come in with a Dragonite, and we should actually also live a Dragon Claw here. So I like this play, just no shielding, going to go for the Stone Edge, and this might not KO from this range, but it's going to deal big damage there. They get the Dragon Tail farm down, but we can come in with the Escavalier, and we get the full counter farm down just before they make it to a superpower, but the opponent's got a Ho-Oh in the back, so Drill Run grabs a shield there. We can swap out just before the opponent lands the next Incinerate, which is pretty huge for us, and we make it to a Wild Bolt Storm as well. So Wild Bolt Storm grabs a shield from the Ho-Oh, actually a CMP type as well, so that was a little bit risky to throw there, but the opponent goes for a Brave Bird bait. They come back in with the Excadrill, not ideal for us, but the opponent doesn't have any shields remaining, so we're actually going to go stay in this matchup, go for the Focus Blast, and you guys already knows what's going to happen here. Focus Blast takes out the Excadrill. They come back in with the Ho-Oh. Can we make it to the Wild Bolt Storm? Yes, we are able to do so, and this will certainly be enough damage to take out the Ho-Oh, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle here, we're going to see Escavalier into yet another Garchomp. So going to stay in this matchup, at least initially, and let's see what we're going to do here. The opponent's going to overfarm this time, not throwing the Sand Tomb straight away, so we can go for the Mega Horn, grab a shield from the Garchomp. We try to swap and catch the move once again, but once again the opponent is going to hold on to the energy. We're going to shield this up. The opponent does go for the Outrage, but this means that they're going to take quite a while to make it to a second Outrage. We can go for the Sandsear Storm, debuff from their attack, and we should maybe live an Outrage from this range if the opponent does shield this up. So let's see, we go for the Sandsear Storm, number 2, debuff from their attack. The opponent's going to bank a ton of energy, swap into their Dragonite, but we can make it to a Stone Edge. We've seen already Stone Edge doesn't quite KO the Dragonite, but that's okay. We can come in with either Pokemon. We actually come in with our Thunderous here. We get the full Volt Switch farm down before they throw a charge move, and then we swap, we catch the move onto our Escavalier. They full send the Outrage, and we're actually going to stop attacking, which is a bit confusing because these Volt Switches are triple resisted. They're really not doing much damage here. But we're going to shield anyways. They go for the Outrage, and the opponent swaps into a Melmetal, and this is a Focus Blast coming through. Focus Blast one-shots the Melmetal, and can we get the Volt Switch farm down? Yes, we are barely able to do so, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, Escavalier into Metagross, so a pretty good lead matchup for us, and very good for our entire team. So we're actually going to go for a Drill Run. We will just barely outpace them before they make it to a Meteor Mash, And if they go for an Earthquake, we're probably going to try and swap and catch the move onto our Landorus. We do exactly that. The opponent is actually going to go for a Meteor Mash there. Whoa, that's not a bit unfortunate as they do bait, but it doesn't matter. We still live it. The opponent going to come in with a Togekiss. We can go straight for the Stone Edge here. This should be grabbing a shield from the opponent, or if it goes unshielded, then it just deals huge damage. We can now come in with our Thundurus, and the opponent's got a Swampert in the back. So they're a little bit tricky here, but we are going to let the first move go through. The opponent goes for the Hydro Cannon. They're not going to be able to farm us down with the Mud Shot damage, so we don't really need to shield that. We full send the Focus Blast. Unfortunately, the opponent does shield that up. We're now going to shield at the last second. It is a Hydro Cannon bait, so we should probably live a Hydro Cannon from this range, so we might actually no shield the next one. Run coming through, grabs the final shield from the opponent, and they do just barely outpace us to the charge move, but we are going to let this move go through. Hydro Cannon doesn't quite take us out. We could have probably committed to the Mega Horn, but instead we go for the Drill Run. Drill Run still gets them low, and we get a simultaneous KO. But at this point, we can just Volt Switch, farm down the Togekiss, and we're able to take that game. And going into the final battle, we see a Aggron in the lead, so really good lead matchup for us. The opponent is choosing to stay in here for whatever reason. I've got no clue, but we're going to go straight for the Drill Run. Drill Run is going to take out the Aggron, and then they come in with a Bite Tyranitar, which is really underleveled. I'm not sure what this opponent is doing here, but we're going to go for the Drill Run. They let that go through as well, and they've got a Gyarados in the back, so that was a very strange battle there, but that is the final battle. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.